Good evening and welcome to the Town of Acton Selectmen's meeting for December 12th, 2013. First item on the agenda, salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, approval of the agenda.
I move we approve the agenda.
Seconded.
All in favor? Approval of the minutes of the last meeting.
I move that we approve the minutes last meeting.
Seconded.
All in favor? Old business, we have none. New business, APAT presentation. We've had some questions about our cable channel recently, so Mike Corey's here to give us an update on what's been going on with our cable channel. Mike?
Are there any specific questions you want me to answer?
Well, we had some questions about what's on, and recently you explained to me about the amount of time that's there and what we have to show and the amount of meetings. And so if you could just explain how you're setting up what's on TV and, you know, the hours that are available and how much we have to fit.
Okay. Well, I put down this brief overview of what we've done this year. Okay. If you don't already know, APAC is available on MetroCast Channel 26 and 99.3 in Acton. It currently employs myself, Eric, and Virginia, who is now setting up for the planning board meeting. This year we've experienced two major equipment failures. The actual device that broadcasts the station failed. We repaired that, and the hard drive that carries all of the videos also failed, but that was replaced too with little to no downtime. And we'll just get right to the broadcast is done at least once a week, if not more. And about every week we cover on average one hourly event. This week we have roughly 3 events with over 4 hours of footage. So on a weekly basis, on average, I'm adding at least 1 hour video footage to the schedule, with a total of roughly 12 hours of consistent video footage with an hour break in between for slides and advertisements. So we're looking at, you know, a good, steady, constant flow of event coverage, from these meetings to basketball games, soccer games, concerts. The Christmas tree lighting this week and in the past. And right now you can see from 2010 to 2012's Christmas tree lightings, including some other winter concerts and such.
Okay. Could you explain to the folks that are having trouble or are not receiving right now what they need to do, what the general manager told us with the older TVs?
Older TVs are required to receive a digital transmitted box you can get from MetroCast. You're allotted 2 devices per household. And it's a little box that will convert your analog television, or it will convert the digital reception from the cable to an analog signal for your older TVs to receive broadcasts. So you just contact MetroCast and request one of these boxes, and I'm not remembering the name of the box exactly. I can't remember. I'm having a.
But she said that you can call and they'll mail it to you, or you can go into the cable office in Sanford or Springville, and they'll hand it to you, and then you can start receiving the channel again.
Correct. And again, you're allowed 2 per household.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
We are now going live with a YouTube channel for all video archives. So if you're interested in watching any of the events that we're broadcasting, just on the web search for Acton Public Television or TV, and you'll find the website, which will link you right to the YouTube channel.
Okay, so what you've done is all our past videos, you've put them on YouTube, so people can just go to YouTube and watch any of the old selectmen's meetings, planning board meetings, or any meetings that have been recorded and now on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, you guys got anything?
Nope, covered it all.
All right, thanks, Mike.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, abatement. All right. This, 936 West Shore Drive LLC. The Town of Acton has reviewed the 2013 assessed value of your Acton property. As a result of our review, we have granted an abatement on Acton map lot 124-022. The reasons for the abatement are the building value was adjusted to reflect completion as of 4/1/2013. The revised valuation and tax and the original valuation and tax are displayed in the table below. We, the Acton Board of Assessors, have approved a tax abatement for $191,302 in valuation and $2,123.45 in tax dollars on real estate. We, the Acton Board of Assessors, have approved a tax abatement for $0 in valuation and $0 in tax dollars on personal property. Please contact our assessors agent, John E. O'Donnell and Associates, if you have any questions or concerns regarding this matter. A motion.
I move that we approve the tax abatement.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Over here.
Oh, we'll get sign that one too.
At the bottom.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right, we have a poll permit from Northern New England Telephone Operations LLC and Central Maine Power Company for a new pole on Goose Pond Road,
Is that gonna be dated?
one pole. Poll permit?
There are 3 copies, there is one for
We have-
MP, one for,
Okay, so we have to sign all three?
and one for our shop.
Okay, motion?
No, I move that we approve the permit for the
Poll permit.
poll.
Seconded.
All in favor? Okay, assessors return. Yep. Now, it's just one page we have to sign on this, Lorraine? Oh, right here on the front? Okay. All right, pursuant to a warrant for tax commitments, 6 months transitional budget, January 1st, 2013 through June 30th, 2013, to us directed from the York County Commissioners for the County of York and dated the 20th March AD 2013. The full amount of assessment, the sum of $149,626.69. This is the extra taxes that we had asked for at the Junetown meeting because the county is going from a calendar year to a fiscal year, or the other way around, fiscal year to a calendar year?
Calendar to fiscal.
Okay, so the county is going to it from a calendar to a fiscal. So this year, they are charging 1.5 years' taxes. We paid our taxes in October, and now they're asking for the additional 6 months' worth of taxes. A motion?
I move that we approve the, what's the
County taxes.
county tax of $149,626.69.
Seconded.
All in favor?
page.
Okay. The contract with Cartographic for mapping, we have one for town map maintenance for the town of Acton, 2014. GPS data collection services proposal for the town of Acton for the 2014. And the data collection services contract for the town of Acton for 2014. And tax map maintenance for the town of Acton. So, motion to sign the contracts for Cartographic.
I move we sign the contract, and approve the tax map maintenance.
We have to, okay, you want to do one at a time? There's
Well,
4 contracts, so the Cartographic contracts.
Well, we move then to approve all 4 tax map maintenance contracts for Cartographic.
Seconded.
All in favor? Is it just one page on each one, Lorraine, or?
I think so.
Oh, no. Okay. That goes with those. Okay, next one says superintendent's letter. What it actually is I received an email from our new superintendent of schools, Ken Aldridge, wanting to have the board thank the road commissioners for this week's work during the storms, allowing the school to stay open, and not only to open, but also to stay open and not have to close early. He was reminding us that we're very early into the year, and if he started school closings in December, he definitely would have run out and had to go late into June, so he thanks both of the road commissioners for their great work on these storms that we had this week, so that the Acton School didn't have to close. All right, next thing is a follow-up on the road committee workshop from 11/25, 2013. Okay, where are my dates? Okay, on 11/23 and 11/24, we had an ice storm, which was a Saturday night into a Sunday. It was brought to our attention that one of the road commissioners had used some town salt and sand on a private road. It was brought to my attention by the road commissioner that actually did the salting and sanding. He called me on Sunday, and I'll let the others speak as far as when they know. So because it was town property used on a private road, we had an emergency workshop on Monday, the 25th, at 4 o'clock. The minutes of that meeting are available to anybody that would like to request them. Just come in and fill out Freedom of Information Act paperwork, and Jennifer would be happy to give it to you. The reason we did not post these minutes on the web is because it was not a regular workshop or a public selectmen's meeting. It was an emergency meeting, and we have no place on the website for doing emergency meetings, but those minutes are available. The road commissioner did replace the salt and sand. The receipt is also available if anybody would like to see that. There's a couple of things I'd like to remind everybody of as we're going through this. This year, the Selectmen had put forward a question on March 5th. Question, shall the town vote to change its road commissioner function from 2 elected road commissioner positions to 1 appointed road commissioner, public works superintendent position, to be appointed by the Board of Selectmen and having a term of 3 years, with said change to be phased in as follows. The newly appointed road commissioner, public works superintendent shall oversee the northern part of the town effective upon the 2013 annual town meeting, and shall oversee the entire town effective upon the 2015 annual town meeting. When the term of the elected road commissioner for the southern part of the town expires, or immediately in the event that the office becomes vacant prior to the expiration of said term. Question 1 failed, 193 no and 27 yes. So what the town did is voted to keep our road commissioners as elected officials. Therefore, they are not under the supervision of the selectmen, only in the case of their warrants that they put in. We have to oversee the warrants, we have to sign the warrants, but the only action taken against our road commissioners can be done by the town, not by the selectmen. What we did do is we had an emergency meeting, and I talked to the attorney, and I, as a taxpayer of the town of Acton, filed a report with the police. We could not file a report as selectmen because we did not have a scheduled meeting where we could do it in public and the 3 of us could vote. So I could not do it as a representative, as a selectman, so as a taxpayer, I filed a report with the police that town property was used on a private road. So that is in the hands of the York County Sheriff's Department. So the other thing is the town voted on July 11th to maintain our having 2 road commissioners. So we have north and south. So we have 2 votes from the town that are pretty clear that they want 2 road commissioners and that they want them to be elected officials. Now, having said that, these folks, like the fire department, are out there when we're all asleep, making sure we're safe, our roads are safe, and they are elected officials, so they have to have some discretion. We are not going to second-guess them. If people have concerns, you can come up and address them to us, but as I said, the town has voted that they are elected officials and do not work for the selectmen. So, having said that, if you guys have anything you'd like to add before we go to open mic?
No, I just got one thing to add. You know, like Ted said, I mean, they're out there in the bad weather. They both do a great job. One of the road commissioners saw a safety hazard. He backed in, he spread some salt on an area that was a hot-topped part of a road leading, there was a dirt road leading to this hot-topped part of a road that goes out on the 109. If a car had come down, hit the hot top area, it was icy, could have skated onto 109. He did spread some salt on it. Yes, it's a private road. He notified me at 8:15 in the morning, Sunday morning after he had done this, told me what he'd done, said that he was going to replace it. I would expect the same thing from either one of the 2 road commissioners to do the exact same thing. You know, regardless of which side of town, if you see a safety hazard, that's what you guys are out there for. You're out there to take care of any problems that come up. You know, you both would do, you know, like I say, I would hope you both would do the same thing. You know, it takes care of the problem, it takes care of a safety hazard. You're not talking large dollar amounts, you're talking 2 seconds worth of work, and you might save somebody's life by doing it. So I appreciate, like I say, I don't agree with doing it, but in a safety hazard like that, I'd expect the same thing from either side of town, so.
Bill? Hang on, we're going to go, let the selectmen finish. Oh, okay.
I was going to say basically the same thing, and so rather than repeat myself, I would just,
Are the speakers on?
Yep.
Okay.
I was going to say essentially the same thing that Ed just said. Since he has said almost exactly what I was going to say, I will pass and will not comment further.
Okay. All right, so, other business, that's when the floor is open to you folks.
Dave Winchell, District 2. I am the culprit that spread the sand on the intersection of 7th Street. On that morning around, well, first of all, I take care of, I think it's 5 private roads that I've been doing for the last 6 or 7 years now. And one thing that I've always done is kept those separate from my town stuff. I have a truck that completely stays on that side of town, on all that. But that morning, I'd gone out at 2 o'clock, we'd had a dusting of snow. We'd already gone and treated our main roads. The roads were, all the dirt roads were fine. It was nothing to be concerned about. But we had gone out at, I think it was 5 o'clock or so in the morning to spot sand due to refreezing. As I went by the intersection of 7th Street, which I do take care of, I noticed that after the state had salted, it was running water up onto the hot top there and it was slick. So due to a couple breakdowns, this and that, knowing that I weren't going to be able to get back there for at least an hour until I was finished my route, I backed up and I hit the little 50-foot spot so nobody'd slide down into 109. Later on that morning, I got a call that the other road commissioner was in my dooryard checking out my sand pile. At that point, I called him, asked him what was going on, and he gave me the line that he was turning around. So at that point in time, I already knew, because I'd already planned on doing what I had done, like I'd done in the past. I made a phone call, explained what was going on, some of the other issues that we had had that night, and that I was going to replace the material anyways, either out of my pile or I would go get some that was adequate. I used less than a quarter of a yard of material, valued about $7. If you figure, I think it's about $17, $18 a yard is what it costs to put up in that shed. That doesn't matter. I looked at it as a safety issue at that point in time. It was due to my lack of, I guess, looking ahead. Didn't think it was going to be a big deal that the road wasn't sanded in the first place. When I saw, boy, now it is, I took into my best opinion was to just back in, do what I did, then eventually call you guys. I wasn't calling you guys at 7:30 on a Sunday morning. I thought it could wait until later. Obviously, somebody else thought differently. So we had the meeting the other night. I told you that I was going to do what I did. Did not think it was a big deal. Unfortunately, I guess due to letters sent to the town hall, complaints on allegations of, misuse of this and that and whatever, you guys had to do what you had to do. I have no problem with that at all. I compensated the town very well for the 2 wheelbarrow-fulls of sand I used on that intersection. I drove all the way to Portsmouth in my 1-ton, and I hauled 1.6 ton of salt, which is roughly a little over a yard and a half of salt, at a cost over $100. And I had Mr. Shields come down and watch dump it, okay? And thinking this is a done deal. But obviously, the word that's getting around that I'm off stealing material, no. I saw a safety issue, I took care of it. Unfortunately, I guess if it was somebody else that rode, it'd been all right. So I'm sitting back, I have an officer show up at my house over $7 worth of sand on a safety issue. So that's fine, I understand completely. We've got to the point in this town where I guess if you don't live on the right road, these people pay our taxes. No, I'm speaking.
Hey, no.
And
Excuse me.
so,
If you would like to speak, you can come up to the microphone when he's done. Okay.
so
Excuse me.
these people spend a lot of money in these roads. I go down, fire department calls me up, either if it's sand in my truck, that's my sand, or the town sand. I'll go down and hit that road because we legally have to do that. I guess I looked into it a little harder than I should have. I was trying to be proactive instead of reactive. I saw a situation where it could be dangerous, and I went and I acted on it, and it's got blown up to a big deal. And I've always been upfront with you guys on everything. And I've always come to you and asked permission. I don't think you wanted me calling you at 6 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. I asked if I can hit the intersection of 7th Street. Maybe at this point in time, I should have, okay? But, so we're making a big deal out of this couple wheelbarrow fulls of sand. So, I see the people that are here. I know why they're here. And, you know, it's one of these deals where I guess it's what's good for one is not good for the other. And I know people do their driveways with this stuff. Matter of fact, my road gets done with Acton sand, but it ain't out of my truck, okay? That, one of the other road commissioners' truck goes home and dumps sand on the hill, and I complain about it, because we will not put Acton sand on our road for one reason. It's got so much salt, it'll make mud. I sand that road out of my pile, okay, that I put up, which I got receipts for and everything. Many salt receipts, okay, and sand receipts. So now all of a sudden, oh, Winchell did that, the witch hunt is on, but it's all right that his truck does his driveway every storm and does part of Winchell Lane when his driver goes home. I compensated the town, I didn't break any law.
Yeah, you did. You stole
Excuse me. I'm going to have to ask you to, Holly, I'm going to have to ask you to leave the meeting if you keep this up. We have a speaker up here. We're going to respect that speaker. If you have something you'd like to say, we'll give you the same respect. No yelling from the audience. If you can't stop that, then I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Thank you. Go ahead, Dave.
Evening, District 1 Road Commissioner. The selectmen have failed to mention that there was 2 issues that I brought up that weekend during that meeting. There was the public safety issue that Dave Jr. Winchell blocked the salt pile during that ice storm that we had, what little bit of salt we could get to, took it in his own hands because he couldn't get a hold of me because I was up on Acton Ridge, and we have very poor service on my cell phone and a handheld radio, in which I have updated the truck radios, so I haven't updated my phone. I'm stuck on my service, that's what it is. But I had a safety issue problem that he took initiative and took his loader and blocked the salt stockpile the evening before, which puts my roads into a safety issue. If I needed to get to that salt, I would have had to call a wrecker or do something drastic as push his loader out of the way with my loader or something like that, which I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't have never blocked the sand stockpile. And as a road commissioner, an elected official, yes, I went down Sunday morning to get my coffee, drove by 7th Street, which he gets paid for. He gets a lump sum to take care of that road, to provide for that safety of that road through the people, the goodness of the people on that road with their money. And I see that there's town material put on that road. It's not right. And far as a safety, as far as someone's plowing their driveway, it's no more than when the York County calls me, or the state police calls me, or public safety calls me to go sand some private driveway. Excuse me, is there something needs to be said?
Nope, go ahead.
And when they call me, when I go anywhere that I have to go for a public safety issue, when I'm getting in and out of my driveway, it's for the town, and I consider that a public safety issue. It's totally different. I don't get paid to do my driveway. I don't do private roads.
I want to respond to the, I guess, the allegation of how I created a traffic issue the other night. I did not create any traffic issue other than, first of all, we did something different this year that we've never done before, okay? When we were putting up the salt, I took it upon myself, when sand was being delivered and the salt, to put aside 6 or 7 yards of salt, barricaded off to the side for the fire station, and if Scott needed to use it for the town hall or whatever. At the same time, straight salt, because typically that's what I use on the fire station, okay? I had some complaints that they didn't want dirt in the building, this and that. Well, the problem is, when we put our sand up, we put about 600 ton of salt in, and we put it inside the building, and then we bury it full of sand. So it takes me 3 storms to get to that salt. So I had them put that material outside, and I covered it in a tarp so that I had access to this material. But what I also had done is I had the last trailer load of salt dumped right in the entrance of the salt shed, so we didn't have to go, so we had salt for the roads. The salt was there. He just didn't know it, okay? So what was happening was that when I went in that night, we loaded out 1 load of salt onto a 1-ton that covers the fire station and a couple other areas, okay? And I left it uncovered, and when I come back, I noticed the pile had disappeared considerably. Well, we had another storm coming. That was the only straight salt we had for doing those projects. I couldn't get a hold of nobody, okay? So, after trying to contact him on his phone, on his radio, one of his guys on the radio, and one of his guys in the yard, which I know well, did not want to discuss it, didn't want to try to get hold of him. I had no other choice, because at that point in time, what I was trying to accomplish was going to be diminished. I needed that material for the next storm. He was mixing that salt with sand, which was already salted 60%. It was 60% salt, and he just didn't know it. So when I got the phone call from Mr. Mooney, it didn't go over well. And so told me, I'm creating a traffic hazard. No, absolutely not. We never put salt outside. We've always done the way we've done it, okay? Except we never had the salt sitting out accessible like we did in the building, okay? None of us used any of that salt on the roads that we took out of. We were using the material right out of the building, just like he's supposed to, okay? So I took care of my roads just fine, okay? I think it's being embellished just a little bit about this safety issue, okay? And second of all, if I live on the end of a private road, Winchell Lane, okay, and I have a house on the end of Winchell Lane, say I'm living there, and I'm road commissioner, and what Mr. Mooney's saying is, it's all right, because I live at the end of that road, a mile of that road, that I could sand and plow that all the way in and out with town sand. He's wrong, okay? That's not the town's obligation to make sure your driveway is nice and sanded, okay? Doing this private road was a dumb move. Looking at it now, okay, it's petty. This is a witch hunt, okay? It's fine. His driveway, 600, 700 feet long, gets done every snowstorm, okay? And we can say, oh, I go down and get sand. No, you don't. Because those trucks come in and out, they're not gonna dump off their loads and then go down and get a load of straight sand, okay? There was no traffic issue the other night. That's been embellished, just like the letters that was sent to you guys about the altercations at the trading post, the selectmen all working for me and everything else. This is all being embellished for a reason. I had an issue that night, okay? I suspected there was some alcohol being used on site. I didn't do my job. That's what I didn't do. I didn't do my job that night. Because when I seen something a couple hours before we went out plowing, okay, I had suspicion, okay? But in the position I'm in, it's suicide for me to go and call the authorities to say, hey, I think there's something wrong here. I'm not calling you guys because you guys don't have the authority to go check this out, okay? I screwed up that night. But the argument I got into, okay, stemmed all this. This is a witch hunt, okay? Now, if we want to get into private road sand and all this other stuff, I can go on a mile, okay, of all the culverts for the town of Acton that have gone to Berwick for pocket money that I've seen go by. I've seen gravel being delivered to people's houses, okay, town bought. I know of a road.
You're gonna allow this? Honestly.
You
this is
opened the
not
door.
our fault,
Okay.
accusation. It's found
Okay.
lies and you're allowing it, guys.
Let me explain what our position is. I'm sorry, I wish.
If he's got proof.
Let me
to back this,
explain.
Please, let him
Scott,
have it.
let me answer you. Let me explain what our position is. I whispered to Ed, and I apologize for that, and I wrote a note to Bill. We've decided, because you are elected officials, we see this all the time. We've decided to let you guys do what you do to us when you come into our meetings, because every year, here's what I see personally, okay? Every year, spring, summer, and fall, you guys get along fine. Soon as winter comes, and you guys have lack of sleep, and you run into each other at the sand pit, this kind of stuff happens, and you're in our office. Some of the things you're talking about are issues, but they're not our issues. You are elected officials, so we're giving you the floor. The camera is live, it's gonna be recorded, it's gonna go on the website. We're allowing the people to see what their two elected officials have to say about the roads. It's not our position to judge, because they voted that they didn't want us to be your bosses. So if you guys, this is what you want to present yourself as elected officials, you've got an open mic. And we're not gonna curb either one of you. So you guys need to decide, is this what you want to present to the town, not to us? Because we don't have any say over this. But this is the same kind of stuff we've been hearing at meetings for a long time.
When I say what I say, okay, I didn't open this door up, okay? I worry about the Southern District, okay? I see what goes on, okay, and I keep my eyes shut. Now, we're talking, yeah, I'm making an accusation, okay? I'm not making an accusation I can't back up, okay? I've got people who've witnessed this. Witnessed Winchell Lane getting sanded with a Mooney truck, okay, coming home from sanding, okay? I got witnesses for this, okay? But I didn't see a cop show up in his dooryard when I mentioned it, okay? Now, okay, yeah, you want to do your driveway with the town, say, wait a minute, where are we going here? All of a sudden, his driveway's more special than somebody else's? No. When it comes to a safety issue, it's a safety issue, okay? I don't complain about him staying in his driveway, I never did, okay? But all of a sudden, we're gonna get petty and start talking about this little issue that you know as well as I do. Have I always come to you guys when there was an issue? I always have, okay? I always made sure everything was all right. The thing I screwed up, I should have come to you first. But I've been up all night, Sunday morning, I just thought it was a bad idea. This bull about the town shed, about creating a safety issue and how he had to put sand, he told us the other night that he had to put sand on the town hall parking lot. I've never seen this parking lot not sanded like a gravel road. So don't tell me you were using salt on this parking lot, straight salt, you never did. Okay, that wasn't the reason why that was put there. That was put there so we can use it where we needed straight salt. And it's being embellished. It's turning into a bigger deal than it really was. There was no big deal that night. They were almost done, okay, when I parked that loader there. So, we can sit here all night long and accuse each other of this and that. There's one thing I do. I watch my tail. Every culvert that I pull out of the town of Acton, you know where they are? They're all sitting right down the town shed, and they're all squatted flat like roofing. I put them there for a reason, because I've heard over the years and years, where did those culverts go? Did they reuse them, this and that? No, I squat them. I've taken 3-foot culverts out, decent, and squatted them, so I didn't have to worry about it, and they're piled down in that town shed for a reason, okay? I've got hay in the town building right now. There's where we put our loaders. I'd bought some hay off a local farmer because of doing the projects. I will not put that material in my yard. I don't want to get accused of using that on my private work, okay? It's down the town shed piled on top of those sanders that we like to get rid of someday, okay? I do have some culverts in my yard, some plastic culverts, but if anybody wants to come up, look, right inside of every one of those culverts. It's a town of Acton. I put it on the inside of the culverts. You know why? Because you can't bury that. You can see them. So if you show up on one of my jobs, you can look and see they're not in there, okay? I keep account of everything I do, so I don't have this problem, okay? Now, you can sit up here and say this and that and how I'm stealing and blah, 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 blah. I didn't steal anything, okay? I did what I was doing, thought was right, okay? Now, I explained to Mr. Mooney this the other day, okay? I says, we've got other local contractors in this town that do contracts, sand driveways, do whatever, okay? And you have a local contractor, say his loader breaks down, and we have an ice storm, okay? Now, yeah, I guess if there's an emergency, Pete's gonna call us, and we're gonna go in and we're gonna sand it. It's gonna pull us off our regular, whatever, but we do it. If we have a contractor that breaks down, and he's got a road that's impassable, and he comes to me or Scott and says, I'm bumming, can I get a couple yards of sand, I'll replace it? You mean to tell me that we're that petty, we can't load on a couple yards of sand to help that guy out if he's gonna pay us back? That's petty, okay? But we can sand his driveway for the last 10 years, you know? That's where I'm getting.
Thanks, Dave.
As far as sanding my driveway, it was the only time my driveway's ever been sanded by the town. It's been a public safety issue, because I do not like to put salt sand mix on it. I go to Turk's, I go to Pepin's, get straight sand, and I'll sand my driveway, my whole driveway up to my house, in front of my steps accordingly. I do not sand my driveway every single storm for the last 10 years. There's been a lot of faults, more false accusations said here tonight, and it's just a vicious circle of false accusations. The statements that I made are proven facts. He admitted to it, and that's all I'm saying. Thank you.
One more thing to say. We had a special meeting the other night, right? What was brought up in that meeting, okay? Now, when I called you guys about sanding that, okay? And then I told you about him being in my dooryard. Now, I didn't know Mr. Shields was in the truck with him. I tried calling Mr. Shields, that's why I couldn't get a hold of him, I guess. When I told you what happened that night, what was the accusation that I made, okay? That I thought there was a suspicion of alcohol, da-da-da-da-da, whatever, okay? So during that meeting we had, what did Mr. Mooney tell us at that meeting? I had a couple beers after dinner, okay? Well, wait a minute, you just admitted to it. So I'm not sitting here blowing this out my tail end. This was at a special meeting on the minutes. So I'm not blowing anything out my tail end.
We're going to keep it between you two. We're going to keep it between you two.
As far as that accusation again, it's false accusations, and when I'm off duty at my house, I can have a beer or two and go to damn bed. I wasn't plowing,
Same
Dave.
thing, nobody yelling from the audience. You want to come back up to the mic is yours.
Yeah, he can,
Talk to us.
well, I am gonna talk to you. Someone just said something to state in the, again, you know, I mean, he spoke to my wife, which
I
is.
just did.
I just spoke to him.
I told him that he couldn't,
You know,
he'd
'cause
have
told him
I
to...
to be
just,
quiet.
but I can get up here and say false accusations all night long. I'm not like that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not gonna try to blindside the people. I'm just stating facts of what happened. And if you guys don't wanna do nothing about it and try to sweep it underneath the rugs, the people are seeing it.
We're not,
If it was under the rug, we wouldn't be sitting here tonight, and we wouldn't have had that meeting a week ago Monday.
Then how come the loader issue was never brought up? Of blocking the salt, a safety issue? That was my first concern, my first statement that night. How come that was never brought up by you guys, you three?
tonight?
Yes.
I opened the floor for, the minutes are available to everybody, everything that was talked about is there. I didn't bring up the fact that he accused you of drinking either. All I brought up was the one that was admitted to, we had proof of.
He admitted to that, he admitted to that one in the meeting.
He admitted to the salt on the road, and again, everything from those minutes are there. I'm not here to argue with you guys.
I know, but he admitted to blocking the salt.
You guys had issues, we dealt with them the best we could under the law because we are not your supervisors. The people are. So we're giving you an open forum to explain to the people, not to us, because we can't make any changes. The only thing we can do is if you're spending money the wrong way, is we don't sign the paper to give you the check. That's the only power the selectmen have. You are representatives of the people. The floor of the town hall decides
And I'm sure the people.
what you do.
I'm sure the people will speak.
Okay?
Fine.
How you doing? Earl Foster. I was just listening to the meeting. I was just wondering, do the taxpayers get a tax break for not having salt used on their private roads?
Excuse me?
Because you pay in your taxes, or basically based...
We don't do any work on
Rebates.
private roads.
No,
It's
no,
against the law.
No, it's, well, if it's voted in, it's not. against the law. But if the taxpayers are being charged to have their private roads done, in your taxes, there's not a tax break. If you live on a private road, you don't pay you don't get a rebate.
Just like we don't give a tax break to people that have their driveways plowed, the same thing.
Right, okay.
A
So
private
actually, the
road is
sand, the
same
sand
as a
can be used.
driveway.
All right, and I was listening to both sides. One there had the 50 feet, admitted to it, and made restitution. The other one just said just recently, he's done his driveway, right away to driveway or whatever. I don't know how long it is, I got a rough idea, I've never been to his house, but it looks like maybe it's a quarter mile long, okay? If you took that, just using 10 storms a year, over 10 years, it's 100 miles. It's almost from here to Boston. But I don't care if he does it, because
Okay.
these guys, you know, if one's gonna pay, if one's gonna
Oh,
pay,
I'm going to stop you, because I opened the floor to the two elected officials to talk out their issues with
Yep.
each other, but I'm not going to turn it into taking sides. I like
No,
this
I'm not
one,
gonna
and
take-
don't
no, I
like-
didn't ask
and I don't
sides.
like
I didn't
that
ask
one. We're not
sides.
gonna- We're not going to do that.
you didn't let me
So-
finish. You didn't let me finish.
You let me finish. So I'm not going to do that.
I didn't
So if
finish.
that's where you're going to go, then I'm going to ask you to
No,
sit
I just
down.
asked you about, you sent the sheriff out to make
didn't ask me.
restitution. You did it yourself, right? As a
Mentioned that
citizen.
I filed a report with
Right,
the Sheriff's
right.
Department.
Why after the meeting wasn't a report filed on the other side too?
They were accusations not admitted to. We don't have any proof. I have proof. I have an
He
accusation.
he
We
just
had
said he
proof.
admitted to doing his private road to his driveway. He just said it just again, right?
He didn't say where we got the salt from, it's the sand from. He didn't say the town bought it.
He just did. He just said he used some sand,
All right.
some of the sand and
No,
some of the
we're not gonna
town.
go
We're not
there.
going to debate this, okay? We allowed the two road commissioners that had an issue with each other, that are elected officials, to speak to the town. That's what the reason for this is. We're not going to start taking sides.
No, I'm not talking
So,
about I'm just saying,
yeah, I mean,
when you do both sides, it's just not one, it's
We
both.
did what we were supposed to do. We're actually not allowed to do anything to the road commissioners because they're elected officials. They
Right,
do
I
not
understand
work
that.
for us.
I understand that
We
fact.
had an emergency meeting. I reported to the sheriff as a taxpayer. We didn't do it as a board because we didn't have a meeting, and we have to vote and have a
understand
two-thirds
all that.
majority to do that. After talking to the attorney, it was in the best interest of the town that a report be filed, so I filed that.
But did you talk to the attorney
I
about
talked to the
both?
attorney about everything and sent them a copy of the minutes, and I did what was suggested to
So you have
me
a
by the
copy
town
that you
attorney.
address
So,
both sides?
I told you what I did based on what the attorney told me to do, and that's it, okay?
No, I mean, the information you gave the attorney, do you have
I
that?
gave the information to the attorney, that, the minutes of the meeting that we had on Monday following the incident.
Okay, so you have a
You
copy
have
of
the
the
minutes here.
minutes?
If you would like a copy, you can
Yeah.
come in and fill out a Freedom of
Okay.
Information
Because to me,
Act.
if they both owned up to it, they should both just take care of the problem, and it would be all over and done with. There wouldn't be this fight to start with.
Okay, thank
But
you.
just one-sided was done.
All right, thank you.
That's all.
All righty.
I do talk about this topic.
Can we let Pete come up and then go back to that? So he can leave?
Let's
Oh, you want to stay?
Let's finish this
Okay.
topic.
I'd like to leave
Go
too.
ahead. You like to
Go
leave too?
Bill Lotz. I think the primary issue that we have here is that we know our southerly road commissioner, his books, I believe, are being handled by a,
No, we're not going there, no. I'm
We've
sorry.
got to-
No,
we've
no,
got
we
to-
don't. We don't, because that is not a town issue. No, Dave, please, let me handle this one. I know. We have no question about the books being done right. The issue you're about to bring up has absolutely nothing to do with the town. It was not a town department, it was not a school department, it has nothing to do with us. So if you have an issue with that, that's something you have to deal with outside of the town hall. That's not a town issue.
but
It's not a town issue.
isn't the accounts for the southerly road commissioner something that's a town issue?
They are taken care of by the treasurer, and we have made changes in the accounts. As far as we're concerned, we are happy with the road commissioner reports from both districts and have no concerns at all.
All right.
Dennis Long. As most of you know, there isn't too many jobs in town that I haven't done in the last 40-some odd years. There was a time when somebody would get sick somebody would pass away, for example, and the widow would be there by herself, and the town would, for the first winter anyway, they would plow their driveway, sand their walk, to help people out a little bit, that they didn't need that headache, after losing their spouse, or somebody who been hurt real bad and got laid up, and the town would take care of this stuff. And I know the town, or the state says we're not supposed to use this dirt on private property, but it does get used on private property. We allow, as a town, for people to use the town sand on their private driveway, and their walks. So Mr. Mooney keeps sand up at the transfer station for that purpose. At least he used to. I assume he's still doing it. It's just pretty sad, because I remember this summer, this elderly lady came up to the town hall because her road was, I'm not going to say impassable, but it was pretty rough, and talked to Ed Waltz a little bit about it. And it's a road that arguably, whether it's a town road or not, we won't get into that. But the town took care of it for many, many years, and then they decided not to. And she didn't really know anybody to fix the road. And Ed spoke to David about doing it. And it's on the southern end of town, and David says, no, I can't do that, it's a private road. As a road commissioner, I can't go down and do that. And he thought about it, and he came down special on a Saturday and fixed the road up real good for her at no charge. So I think in lots of ways, David, especially being an old family in town, knows and has heard how things used to be, and all things really weren't that bad. And I personally applaud David for his actions that he took this summer on that private road. It cost him quite a bit of money to do that. There was a half a mile of road he did. And he spent, better part of the day down there working on it. And I think anything that as town officials volunteer or stretch the law maybe a little bit once in a while, I don't think they really need to go to Thomaston for trying to help out their neighbor a little bit. Thank you, David.
Thanks, Dennis.
Thanks, Dennis.
All right, Peter.
Okay. I'm Holly Mooney, I'm Scott's wife. I've been listening to this pretty upset because I was there. Okay, I was there the night that Scott came home, upset, trying to get a hold of you, Ted, because the loader was blocking his material to do his job on the roads. No road commissioner should be able to make that choice. The town has spoken for both of these guys. Nobody has authority over the other one, and nobody has the right to block material and decide that he gets to say how that material goes out on the other side of the road, on the other side of the town. So he did call you, Ted, right away and tried to take care of that. And secondly, when he went down Sunday, November 24th, that morning to get his coffee, he wasn't going down to start any trouble with anyone. He went down to get his coffee, and he came back and said to me that he knew that this would be an issue, but he could not ignore that town material was on a road that it shouldn't have been on. And he went and got you, Bill, because he needed somebody to back him up on it. He wasn't comfortable bringing this up. He knew what this would do. He knew how it was going to be flipped around, and people would be thanking Dave for putting material on, private roads. I mean, I'm listening here tonight, and you know why I'm yelling out? I mean, I'd rather be on my couch tonight, but I'm here because I knew how this would go down. This was flipped, and it was flipped very well by someone I've seen flip things many times. Scott did not try to start something. He is a road commissioner. He has been elected to watch the town's money, and he could not ignore, and that's what I said to him when he came home. I said, you can't ignore that, Scott. He said, well, I'm not sure. So he went up and he got Bill and he checked it. Because he wasn't sure either. He was kind of hoping he was wrong, but he wasn't wrong. And, as far as like the safety issue and all that, and how Scott denied telling him what he was doing, Scott was trying to figure out what was going on. And in that conversation, if I'm not mistaken, because you were there, Dave denied to Scott at that moment that he even put any material on any of his private roads. So this whole safety thing is coming out after the fact. It wasn't at the time that he had the conversation with Scott, when Scott was coming down that road. He didn't say, hey, Scott, I had a safety issue and I had to put town material on the road. He denied putting town material on the road. So, this is getting flipped, and it's getting flipped very well into a safety issue and all that. When it comes right down to it, it's town material the townspeople have purchased, and it cannot be taken. And yes, it's been purchased, everything's been taken care of now, but if Scott hadn't said anything, I wonder if it actually would have been, to tell you the truth. And if Scott hadn't said anything, he wouldn't have to go through all this. As far as our driveway getting sanded once in a while to bring his trucks down, there's been other Winchell driveways that have been sanded also with town material to get their trucks out because it's a windy road, like Matt's, that's on your payroll. So this whole thing about how it's the same apples for apples, Scott doesn't send out an invoice and charge for material that was purchased by the town. That's the difference. Thank you.
Do you have to, Dave? Dave, do you have to?
Yeah, I do, because see,
No,
the issue with the issue with the billing out of the materials, that's why I compensated it, okay? That was the whole idea. It's just like back in the day when we needed some salt, I replaced da-da-da-da, that's why I thought this was all right, okay? I compensated, now for her to say, no, I was never gonna come to you guys.
We're not going to go back and forth. You
Okay,
speak
well,
to us, don't mention anybody else.
Okay.
And I'd like you to keep it short, because I think I've been more than fair. to you.
And you have been. And, and I apologize, okay, over this little, I call little, okay, I call it petty, okay? But it's turned into a huge issue, okay, over something that was a bad judgment call more than anything, okay? I replaced that material for the simple reason is, the money I make on those roads, okay, helps pay my payments, this and that. I don't want them guys coming back to me saying, hey, wait a minute, you're putting town sand down, why should we be paying you for doing that? That's why I make the call. I think I've already explained the reason why I didn't make the call immediately that morning.
Okay. I think we've had enough on this
Okay.
topic. All right, thanks, Dave. All right, thank you, Scott. I'd like, before we go to a new subject, I'd like to say, again, we get nothing but good calls on both of you. You both do a great job. And for the 4 years I've been here, spring, summer, fall, no problems. We talk to each other, you guys come in together, we get things done. As soon as winter comes and you have to share the salt pile, then you're in our office all the time, and what people saw tonight is what we see. You guys are both doing a great job, or you wouldn't get reelected and reelected. The town likes you. The town voted to keep both of you. You're professionals in everything you do until the two of you get together. And you bring it to us all the time. Now you've brought it to the town can make the decision what they want to do. The town decided they didn't want us to be your bosses. We handled this situation the best we could, having no power. Okay? You guys both do a great job. You're out there when we're in bed. And you make sure everybody's safe. So you got to stop this. You got to learn to work together. And you got to keep the town safe just like you have. I got to be honest with you. We've tried several different ways to get you two to get along, and it doesn't work. So hopefully, the rest of the town can help us with this issue. Because other than the fact that you two can't get along, You do an amazing job. If we could split the town directly in half and you never had to see each other, we'd have no problems at all. So I appreciate what you do, and I'm hoping this is the last time that I have to listen to this kind of stuff, because I am tired. All right? Thank you. After that, you ready, Peter?
Peter Smith, Fire Chief. I had no idea what I was coming into tonight. I was going to come up and say a nice little simple thing. I finally got the word. We're going to get our new fire truck Thursday, this next Thursday coming up.
Nice.
For delivery. Although we have a lot of training to do, pump training, driving training, operations of the vehicle, so it'll be quite a bit of time before it gets into service. That was the good news I wanted to pass on. However, Ted, you made a phenomenal statement. You are right. These guys are the clerk of the works when it comes to public works stuff. They know their stuff. They do make this town very safe for our citizens. I work in a different district. We work very hard down there, but I got to give these guys kudos. They do a phenomenal job on their job, so what they do. I can't thank them enough, and I sure hope the citizens step up to the plate and also thank them. They do a very good job. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thanks. Will it be here for the Christmas tree lighting?
No, it's
You
just,
say
The Christmas tree lighting is, thanks for bringing that up. That's actually Friday night, tomorrow night.
Oh, tomorrow night, okay.
At, I think they're starting it at 1800, but I think the lighting, might be at 1830, but please, everybody that's willing to come on out. We're just going to try to keep that Christmas tree lighting alive.
Great.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Thanks,
weather
Peter.
weather permitting, next Thursday, Petey, can you possibly bring the truck over?
Absolutely, yep,
Okay.
sure.
Week from tonight?
Correct.
Oh, we can go over there.
I'll bring it over.
Bring it over here.
Oh, you want to drive it, right?
Oh, plenty of people. Yeah.
All right, any other business? Hearing none. Announcements, the Christmas tree lighting, as we just mentioned, is tomorrow night at 6 PM. The town hall will be closed December 24th, Wednesday, December 25th, and Thursday, December 26th for the Christmas holiday. They will be open on December 27th from 9 AM to 4 PM, so that's Friday. There will be no selectmen's meeting that week. The transfer station will be closed on Wednesday, December 25th. They will reopen on Saturday, December 28th at 8 AM. The town hall and transfer station will be closed on Wednesday, January 1st for the New Year's Day. Both establishments will have regular work hours the remainder of that week. I have one more. This is actually to everybody, not just to town committees and things like that. If anybody has anything that they want to go on to the June 2014 warrant, it has to be to the Selectmen no later than 6 o'clock on Thursday, January 23rd. We will not consider anything for the town warrant after the 23rd of January. That does not include budgets. Budgets, we will give a deadline for the budgets at a later date. That's for anybody wanting to add something to the normal town meeting. And
Like special projects or anything like that?
that'll be budget stuff, so,
Nothing last year on that.
oh, yeah, is that how we held it last year? Yeah, so, yeah, if you got to,
Budget with my special
that's right,
project.
because we're going to give you to like, February 15th or something. We haven't come in with the exact date for budgets, so yeah, if you want a special project, put that in by January 23rd. It's a Thursday night, we have a meeting that night, and that will be the last time we'll take them. And the reason we've been doing this for the last 2 years is it works out so much better for our timeline and the school's timeline for getting budgets and public meetings and everything else. The first year, we had 7 different warrants in 6 months, and it just did not work well. So since we've started this, we get everything in January. We got plenty of time to have meetings with Warren and Finance, public hearings, all that kind of stuff. So that's why we're shutting it down at that time. Okay. So I think that's it. I have yep, announcements. You guys got anything? No?
Nope.
All right. Hearing none, I entertain a motion.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Seconded.
All in favor?